All right. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another rendition, if you would, of Music Lovers LTD on a Friday night live, baby. Tonight is a big show, and it means something personal to me because the two young ladies that we're spotlighting are not only very good friends of mine, but they're very dear to my heart. Especially Miss Diane Brown, but Tina
Yes.
Wu is what I have been saying all along. She may not, well, she may stand up and stand in this light. She probably will because she's a Leo. You know what I mean? So she will stand up in this light. But she is, first of all, a female drummer. That's the first thing. Then you can expand that by saying she is a black female drummer. Then you can expand that by saying she is one of the best black female drummers that are
Thank you.
around. And I'm not saying that just to blow smoke up anybody's butt. I'm saying that from what I've heard, from what I've seen, and from what some of the legends in the business have said. So she
Thank you.
knows exactly what she's doing when she sits down behind the skins, if you will. We're going to talk to her. The group is going to ask her some questions. We're also going to spotlight Miss Diane Brown. Diane Brown's very good friend of mine. She was a local air personality in the area with WDAS, WHAT, B101, and several other ones from Atlantic City and around the area. Unfortunately, physically, Diane could not be here tonight because she's ill. But we are honoring her because on Sunday, they're giving her a birthday party. And Tina is going to be there. Francis is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Quite a few folks are going to be there to honor her. And hopefully, she'll be able to gain a little bit of that musical savvy while we're there. So good
Right.
evening to everybody once again. Music lovers, how you doing? Everybody's good. Tina's here. Let's jump right on in, Tina. And I'm going to ask you a question. Being a female, how difficult was it or is it? And so I'm going past tense and present tense for you to be in this business and survive.
Well, when I first started, my thing was becoming a pocket drummer. But when I started, guys were like, no, this ain't it. I mean, the men would really tear you down. So what John Fitch did, he would take me out to Valley Green every morning. I started off with 2 miles, 3 miles, started up to 10 to 15 miles to build up my calves. So once I got my calves built up, that's when I really start locking the groove down and locking it down. So John would use me for everything. He wouldn't use the guys that were I thought were better than me. He said, but you have the discipline. They didn't have the discipline.
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't think so, but people like what they like.
Okay.
And what's very difficult as a female, oh no, don't get it. She a female. Guys, they stick together.
Yeah.
And if they can get their buddies in, they're going to get their buddies in. They're not
Right.
going to use a female drummer first. And I had to really learn how to deal with that, which was
Okay.
really tough for me. Because I was
Okay.
like, no, I don't need to do this. But John Fitch, he was like, no, you're going to do this
Okay.
because you
Okay.
got it.
Okay. Now let me ask you just real quickly before we start moving around the room. Explain to our listening audience and everybody here what a pocket drummer is.
A pocket, see, pocket ain't nothing but, and I learned this from early young. Pocket ain't nothing but being consistent in your groove, bass, snare, and hi-hat. I mean, you can do
Okay.
that all night long, and everybody else can do whatever they want, but you can't deviate from that pocket, from that groove. You got to stay in the pocket. You
Okay.
got to stay on the one.
Okay.
You got
So
to stay on it.
are you the primary person that sets the groove and holds the groove being
Oh,
in that pocket?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's move around the room. Professor, come on in, babe.
Hi, Tina.
How are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Hold on,
I'm
I got a
wonderful.
question. How is it that we're talking to Tina? She's in your living room, babe. Can you explain that to us? I don't understand how that works.
She could be all things everywhere. Who knows?
That's right. That's right.
Go ahead, babe.
You know they say I'm every woman.
That's
So
All
right.
right, all right,
there you
all right,
go.
all right.
So Tina, who
Yes.
say or what inspired you to pursue a career in drumming? Were you like inspired by um Richard Pistol Allen from the Funk Brothers, or Benny Benjamin, or Diamond from the
No,
Ohio Players, or
no,
even
I was
Bell from
inspired. I was inspired by my stepfather. He was a jazz drummer. But actually, before I started even liking drums, I was a ballerina. Okay.
Get
That
out of
was,
here. I didn't know that.
oh, you about to learn a whole lot you didn't know. But I used to go to rehearsal with him. And he was straight up jazz player. And I used to go and watch him, listen. And jazz didn't really move me like that. I wanted to
Right.
make people pulsate and dance.
Okay.
So I used to watch them. They did James Brown's Cold Sweat. They
Mm-hmm.
did a rendition of Cold Sweat in jazz that was phenomenal. I say, okay, but you gotta lock it down like I lock it, like I like it.
Okay. Okay.
And he said, no, this is how we do it. So the drums were at the house. So one day I just got on the drums and I started playing with the record. My mother said, oh no, 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 no. She thought it was the my stepfather down there playing, but it was me.
Okay.
So I mean, actually, I'm gifted. I was gifted because I was a natural. I could watch you do something and do it myself.
Okay.
And that's when I knew I wanted to be a drummer. Actually, my brother was a drummer, and I took the drums from him. I
Okay.
started getting some of his gigs. Of course,
That's
we fell
awesome.
out about that, but
Of course. Of course.
yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Okay.
Good question. Good question there, Professor. Good question. Jay, come on in.
Hey, good evening, Tina.
Good evening. How are
Welcome to
you?
Music Lovers. I'm
Thank
fine.
you.
Welcome to Music Lovers LTD.
Thank you.
I heard you mention you were preparing for drumming with your conditioning. What part does that play in you being a successful drummer?
Wow. Good question. Good question.
Well, first of all, I didn't just jump in there and started playing. But before I could get a set of drums and venture off, my stepfather took and broke the whole drum set down. Heads off, lugs off, screws off, heads off, and laid them all on the floor. He said, if you can put this back together again and tune it to perfection, then I know you want to play. And I did
Wow.
that first.
Wow.
I did that like it was no problem. And that
Wow.
really amazed him. He told my mom, he said, you know what? She's gifted. Let her do what she got to do. So from there, and it's funny because when I do shows now, and the sound men, they be like, your drums are tuned to perfection. They love my sound.
Okay.
Sound was more important to me than learning how to play first. Because a lot of times, if a band is playing and the drums are dead, the band sounds dead.
Right. Right.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? As a matter of fact, when I saw Donald Williams, when he came to Relish, he said, girl, your sound is so crispy. And when it comes to that kind of sound, I'm a perfectionist. I mean, I have guys now and I tune their drums for them. But once I got all that down, then things just started happening for me. Everybody said, you know what? She is really serious about this.
Okay.
So it was like a domino effect for me. At
Good.
17, I was playing in clubs. I was on my purpose because it was in my heart. I mean, when I play, you can actually feel me because it's
Copy.
what I love to do.
All right. All right. Good question, Jay. Very good question to start things off. Very good question. Lamar, come on in.
Yes, good evening,
Good
Tina.
evening. How are
Um,
you?
I'm oh boy, I'm fantastic now. But I like to know, like, as a child, did you play on pots and what have you? Because I read that your mother had to work two jobs and she brought you your drum set and you was just so amazed by them. I think they were red, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes.
And I mean, how early, what age were you when you found yourself fascinated by beating on your pots?
Believe it or not, I never banged on no pots. I wasn't a pot drummer. I came out with the set. I came out with the full set right away. It wasn't no pots. My mother wasn't gonna let me play no pots.
Okay.
No, it wasn't no pots in the house. I mean, she wasn't gonna have me. First of all, she didn't want me to be banging on her pot. I
Mhm.
would like hit on the sofa or stuff, or play imaginary drums. But there were always drums around me. So that's when I knew I was destined to be a drummer because it was made easy for me to do it. I had to put in the work, but no, I never played no pods.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good question, Mark. Good question. DD, come on in, babe.
Good evening, Tina. I
Good
always
evening.
wanted to play drums too, okay? But my mother said
Okay.
it was ladylike and I went to charm school, so that tells you right there. But I have always been fascinated by the drums. So it just does something to me. But you said you started when you were 17, right?
Right.
How did the men uh, receive you when you were that young?
Oh, back in the day, they loved it. They thought it was just so unique. I'm a small frame woman with so much power. And actually, before I even got into drummers, as mentioned earlier, I was a ballerina. My
You
mother
too?
said,
Me too.
I gotta put you in the arts. And I did that for about 2 or 3 years. I played violin, I played cello in the Philadelphia Orchestra, all Philadelphia Orchestra in high school.
Okay.
But I didn't get anything from that. My mother had to put me in the arts because, believe it or not, she said, if you're going to be in any facet of the arts, you can't be shy. I was very shy. I was scared. But once I got on them drums, it was like I transformed
Okay.
into a different person.
Okay.
Not so much aggressive, but asserting who I was, who I am now.
Cool.
And playing the drums is just like I light up when I gotta play. I
Yeah.
feel it. I want the audience to feel me, and that's what I project. I love what I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the violin and the dancing wasn't there for me, but it helped me a little bit.
Sure. Sure. Good question, D. Good question, DD. I'm coming to you, Drew. But just before I do, Tina, I am sitting here and I'm listening. Of course, I know you anyway. So, but I'm feeling exactly what you're saying, and what the words that you're using are the same words or similar words that I try to express when I tell people how I feel about playing the oldies, how I feel
Right,
about playing our music. You know what I mean?
right,
And sometimes it's difficult to put in to articulate it into words. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Because it is
right.
a feeling. And I
It
try to
is.
go through the airwaves, through the radio, through the TV to just touch somebody. That's my
Right,
favorite thing. If you
right.
allow me, you may not know the music, but if you love oldies and you give me an hour, I'm going to touch you.
You
You know
gonna
what I'm
touch
saying?
it?
That's
Yeah,
what I
right,
say.
right.
Exactly. And I came up when I went up to Rollis and came up there. I mean, you hadn't sat in the stool 2 seconds before you, and I said, "Oh, time to go, time to go." You know what I'm saying? That's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome. Come on in, Drew. Come on in, Drew.
Hey, Miss Tina, I'm Drew. Thank you so
How are
much
you,
for being
Drew?
on the podcast this evening.
My pleasure.
Uh, let me start off by saying, as a novice bass player, ascending, I love everything you said about keeping beat, timing, and sound. You're my
Right.
type of drummer. Kudos
All
to
right.
you, man,
Thank you.
for sure. Um, reading up a little bit, I read somewhere where you played guitar with Diane Brown. Is that the Diane Brown from WDAS that we're talking about
Right.
earlier?
Diane Brown was a guitar player. I was a
I
drummer at the
never
time.
knew that. I just knew
Yeah.
her as a DJ.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Diane Brown recruited. I was in my last year of high school, and they were putting a group together called Ladies Unlimited. And I went out, and I mean, I just smashed it. I just did what I had to do, and it was like, where do you get all this fire from? Where do you get all this power from? I said, because I feel what I do,
Come on in.
and I
Come
love
on in,
playing
baby.
drums.
Come on in.
And
Come on
next
in.
thing you knew, I was
Is
with
there any
Diane.
recordings of you two?
Of Diane,
Is
no,
yeah,
that was
recordings
back
of you
in
two?
the early 70s. I think we had one when we opened up for Georgie Woods when he first went on TV, live TV. We did his television opening.
Right.
Okay.
That's out there.
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. I had no idea she was a guitar player, and apparently
Oh
a good one at that. So
Yeah.
oh,
that's a
absolutely.
revelation.
Diane, we were performing in the women's prisons. We were all over the place. I mean, Diane was a great guitar player and singer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware.
you didn't know
That's
that.
that's a great
Oh,
segue, Drew, because I wanted to run around the room to everybody to talk about Tina before I brought up some stuff about Diane. Yes, what Tina said, Diane was the one that sort of got the all girls group together, and they starred on the Georgie Wood show and traveled the country, this, that, and the other. I forgot about you guys going to the prison and doing the do,
Yeah,
but yeah, Diane, I, as I said to you, with WDAS, WHAT, B101, and some in Atlantic City and throughout, we used to, Diane and I used to do a Sunday morning gospel brunch at the Adams Mart every Sunday morning. And I'm
right.
telling you, it was off. I would play the music, and what it caused me to do was go back and dig up some of the old gospel, Dorothy Norwood, James Cleveland, that type of thing. That's what it would cause me to do because the newer stuff just wasn't hitting it. And we used to have that brunch up there it was awesome. It was really, really awesome. She's responsible pretty much for Heavenly Hall. A lot of you guys have heard
Yes.
about Heavenly Hall. She's
Hmm.
responsible for that. But her forming this group or putting this group together with Tina and Marcy. Some of you remember Marcy. Marcy was the one that came to us at the noodle place that played the Shakure. I think I'm saying it
yeah.
right.
Shake
Shake a Rack,
a
Yeah.
Ray.
Shake a Rack, Shake a Rack. Yeah,
Right.
played that, and they call her Lady Fingers because she
Right.
plays the bass. She plays the bass
Right.
guitar. So to see, and that's why I open up by asking Tina this question: how was she received in this male dominant world? Trying to come up, and that's why I asked her that question. I wanted to get
Right.
her take on that. So you can imagine, or at least I'm thinking, and Tina, you correct me if I'm right, that you guys were looked at as a novelty in the beginning until you
Yes.
proved
Yes.
everybody sort of stepped aside. Am I correct on that?
You're right. It wasn't until I got older when the men start coming up against me because the guys that I came up with musically, like the Dow Burgess, Fat Larry,
Mm.
George from Tapestry, those guys embraced me
Okay.
because they knew I had something. They never fought, oh, Tina, oh, Tina, oh, Tina, oh, Tina, oh, Tina, they
Right.
always gave me my props. They always gave it to me.
Okay.
It's just that
Okay.
the people I didn't come up with that I found myself coming up against.
Right. Right.
Well, really,
Right.
I wasn't even trying to fight them like that. Hey, it's enough room for all of us. So
Exactly.
why do
Exactly.
we have to do this? Nowadays, you know, people want to fight for territory and dominance over music. We didn't do it like that. We
Right.
would get down the basement and rehearse for 8, 9, 10 hours and
Right.
loved it.
Right.
We would pick each other up for rehearsals. You
Right.
know, we would go to the show with, in our jeans and have our little garment bags with our show clothes in it. It was always showtime back then. Now I don't know what time it is now. It's a whole different ballgame. There ain't no time. People don't show up on time. They don't respond to you. You text now. You can't talk to people about gigs. You got to text them and,
Yeah.
and and wait 2 and 3 days. No, if you don't get back to me within a certain amount of hours, I'm moving on to the next person.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
they tell me I
Right.
play hardball. Well, you know what? I'm not sorry for it.
Right.
Hardball is what I learned to play coming up in this business.
There you go.
You
Okay.
can't be friends with a lot of people in this business. You got to do what you need to, what you came here to do, and that's what I do.
Right. Right. Well, and we're going to go around the room a couple of more times, but I tip my hat to you because again, I know you personally, and I know this. What you're saying is not just words for the camera. It's something that you deeply feel in your heart and what have you.
Yes.
When we were talking before she invited me to come up to Relics, and she basically said the same thing. How you can't talk to people anymore. It's always texting, and people don't get back to you. Well, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I'm the
Yeah.
same way. And they're not on time. I hate not being on time. I completely hate that. I just don't
I
get it.
mean, what did we do before all of this? You know,
Exactly.
we would run home. If you had a little beeper, you would find you a payphone. You ran home and listen to the answer machine. Write your little, your voicemails down. People just call you now. They just hang up. Well, no message. You never call. You didn't want nothing.
Right, right,
And
right,
that's what they do. I think it's so unprofessional, especially if you're in this type of business and
right,
you
right,
calling somebody about a gig and they just call and hang up and oh well you saw a missed call.
right,
Well, it might have been a pocket dial. I don't know.
right, right, right. Tina, let
So
me ask you something real quick. Were you with Diane when, and I think you were, when you guys were behind or work with Joe Frazier?
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
but talk about that. Talk about that a little bit, please.
Absolute. But then we had a bass player before Marcy. Her name was Nikki Easton. She was the original bass player for the Ladies Unlimited. Her and Diane were really close.
Okay.
And when Nikki fell off, that's when Marcy came in. Marcy and Diane knew Joe Frazier very well when he had
Okay.
that bar up of 50 on Market Street, somewhere in there,
Yeah.
48th round in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. We used to play up there a lot. We used to go to the gym and play. I mean, he had a great interest in us. I mean, he really cared about us because, Marcy and Diane were close with him. But
Right.
that was a good
Right.
moment also.
Right. Now, did you get the opportunity to play when he recorded as the Knockouts?
No,
Okay.
we didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't.
'cause I know he did one record and that was, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Professor, come on in, babe.
All right. Um, Tina, what advice would you give to an aspiring female drummer or female all
Ooh,
girls band?
good question, babe. Good question.
Here's the thing. The first band, well, Diane we were the Ladies Unlimited. Then we branched after, we broke up. Then we became Better Days. One thing I've learned with Better Days and Ladies Unlimited, we we could disagree, but we never argued. We always listened to one another. See, people don't want to listen to people who know. People
Good
don't want to
point.
learn nothing. But we didn't do that. I can't remember one time in either group that we fussed and fight, got mad, was on stage. Because when it was time to play, we were like the dudes up on stage. It's
Right.
showtime.
Right.
I was with women today, they're so argumentative, temperamental. They don't want to learn nothing. And that is the key. The key is to be like a family, listen to one another. Females are hard to work with. They really are.
Mm.
And with Better Days and Ladies Unlimited, we never had that problem. We are still friends. After 50, almost 60 years, we're still friends.
Right.
And when
Right.
we play together, when we do things together, it's like the magic never left because
That's
we know
awesome.
each other.
That
People
is
don't get
awesome.
it. See, females don't get a chance to learn each other. They want to compete. And
Okay.
I swear by this. I mean, I live by this. You gotta listen to the people that love you in
Mm-hmm.
this business, because if you
Okay.
don't, it's not gonna happen for you. You gotta know how to take the criticism. Like even the
Okay.
guy said, you want to play drums, you gotta play like you got some, you got balls. I said, I get it.
Okay.
I get it. And once I started playing like that, they were losing their jobs.
Okay.
You know?
Good question, Professor. Good question. Good
Yeah.
question. Good question. Jay, come
So
on in, Jay.
Atina, with some of the biggest international stars coming from behind the drums, have you ever aspired or had the opportunity to take a lead?
oh, absolutely. Um, I mean, when I played with Barbara Mason back in the early 90s, right? I took the lead then, but then she called me back as her musical director. And that was like, I think personally, I think drummers make the best musical directors because they set the tone for everything. But that
Okay.
was really a challenge for me to do that as a drummer. And then and when I lived in Miami, I played with five different groups that particular day. Dr. Lonnie Liston Smith didn't have a drummer. So they said, well, who you want? They said, well, let's get the girl. I said, get the girl. He said, let me tell you something. Don't do that. He said, that girl has more discipline than all the guys I've seen play all day long.
Wow.
And he was straight ahead jazz.
Okay.
I felt like I'm like, I said, I am ever so grateful and humbled by your request. But this is not my genre here. So yes, it is. And he took my hand and he started meditating and praying. He said, you got this. You can do this. When I performed with him that day, I had an out-of-body experience that I could never forget in my life.
Wow.
I went somewhere
Wow.
I never thought I could go jazz-wise.
Okay.
He said,
Okay.
I told you.
Okay.
He said, you listen, you know change, you know crescendos, you know when to come up, you know when to come down. You just know it.
Okay.
And
Wow.
whew, that was something I would never forget in my whole entire life. Because
Great question, Jay. Good question, Jay. Way to go.
he gave me something that God's tried to take from me.
Okay.
I said,
Okay.
you know what? Ain't nothing nobody can say to me now because he gave me what I needed.
Wow. All right. All right. All right. All right. Wonderful. Come on in, Lamar. Come on in.
Yes. My question is, I see that you played with New Birth on It's Impossible. Victor Bailey of Weather Report, Cream de Coco, and Dennis Robinson from the Platters. My question is, what do you feel comfortable in which style of music? Pop, rock, rhythm and blues, jazz, the new wave, hip hop, or gospel?
Smooth jazz and R&B are my forte.
Okay.
I can do it all, but where I feel most comfortable and where I feel I can project is R&B. And I tell you why R&B, because I actually learned how to play R&B I learned how to be a dynamic drummer through singers. I learned how to play through singers. Give an example. When I first got the job playing with the Jonesettes, these sisters were not a joke. I mean, you had to know how to crack that snare, bring it up, bring it down. And they taught me dynamics of playing.
Okay.
Every singer that I perform with, it's important to me that they know how to command the band. A lot of singers don't know how to command the band. You have to know how to command the band to be a great singer. And for me, that was another great experience for me to perform behind singers like Barbara Mason, you know, because they command the band. You have to know what you're doing as a drummer to play behind professionals. You just can't go up there and like, oh, well, I'm just doing a gig like, you at the Hollywood Palace or something. You can't do that.
Tina, let me break in here. Lamar, I'm just going to piggyback and go. Tina, would you kindly explain to the listening audience and viewing audience what that means to command the band? We may know, but so I'm sure there's people out there that don't know. What does that mean, Tina?
Well, I'll give you an example. Like when you see somebody like Anita Baker, she commands her band. She sets the presence for the band. Her hand gestures tell you what she wants done, when to bring it up, when to bring it. She ain't got to howl all in the mic, bring it up, bring it down. You know, they have hand gestures that they use to come. That's what's called commanding the band.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Because you know,
Good
a lot of
question,
singing,
Mar.
bring it down, bring it up, you know, verse. No. No,
Okay.
you don't do that.
Okay. Okay. Good question, Mar. Good question. Very good. Tina, I wanted you to, I'm gonna jump in every once in a while because we
Sure.
have people that don't know the business, if you will. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
I
So it
get it.
certainly
Yes.
helps. Diane,
Yes.
come on in, babe.
Tina, I read that you played with Fred Wesley as well.
What? And I was working, I was the executive assistant for the executive director of agriculture at A&T State University. And they have their yearly picnic, A&T, you know, picnic, A&T State University picnic. Well, Fred Wesley was there to perform. His niece worked in the provost office, so she got him in to come play. So when they were performing, I was in the audience and I was just watching the drummer, and the drummer was doing what he could do, you know, but I knew it wasn't what Fred wanted, you know. I'm like, so I kept looking at the drum. I kept walking closer and closer to the stage. Next thing you know, I was on the stage. I said to the guy, I said, just give me 5 minutes. If you don't like it, you can have these sticks back. So he said, hey, go ahead. And when I started playing, Fred turned around and said, this is what the hell I'm talking about. He said, your sister is stomping at the Savoy here. You hear me? Oh, man. So I wanted to get a guy, you know, so he could. First said, no, where you going? Where you going?
That sounds just like Fred too. Sounds just like.
Yeah. I mean, everybody was like, and people at A&T State University had no idea I was a drummer. All they knew was I was an executive assistant. And that's another thing, you know, I have to point out too. You can't just be a musician in this business. You have to know the business. You have to do the business. You have to know how to follow up. So me being an executive assistant prepared me to handle both facets of this industry, because I've graduated valedictorian twice in my life. And it was such a joy for me because
absolutely,
when I
yeah. Let's give
graduated
it up
high
for her.
school,
Let's give it up for her. Come on, let's give it up for her. That's awesome.
Marcy and Arlen were at the graduation, you know, and that was an accomplishment for me. When I went to school for executive secretaries, I graduated valedictorian. So I know the importance of communication, paperwork, being on time, and doing what you need to do.
Okay.
And this is something I would instill. I strive to instill in most musicians, but you know, they say, oh, well, she don't know nothing. Okay, that's fine. But I got it, and I'm grateful that I got it.
Okay. All right. Good question, Di. Come on in, Drew.
Tina, you mentioned earlier that there was some resistance at the beginning, but you know, you was around the right people and they guided you through that. There are some drummers similar to you that have broken through. I wonder what your thoughts on drummers like Sheila E., Cindy Blackman Santana. Are you familiar with their style of drumming?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Excellent drummer. You know, they just had to be in a circle of people that were really out there. And personally, I really governed myself where I went in the business, because the business is ruthless. And if you get hung up with the wrong people, you know, you see what happened to the people that got hung up with P. Diddy and all them people. And it was the same with me. I was very careful about where I treaded in this business.
Right.
My spiritual advisor always told me, do not go looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Let it come to you.
Right.
And that's what it did. Everything I endured in this business, it came to me. I didn't go looking for it because I didn't want to be knocking at the wrong door at the wrong time and end up in the wrong place.
Right. Right.
God bless you.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Good question, Drew. Good question. You guys have done some real research. Let me tip my hat, like you always do every week. You guys have done some great research, and I'm sure that Tina can echo the questions that are coming to her are pertinent questions, especially yours, Professor, about what would you pass on to the youngsters. If I could, I'm not going to leave Tina, but I'm going to talk about Diane just a little bit. She learned to play guitar from her father at the age of 14 and went on to Chestnut School of Music under Professor Calvin Harris. This was at the
Yeah.
age of 14. We mentioned earlier that Tina and also Diane in the group worked with Joe Frazier. Diane also worked with Reverend Jesse L. Jackson. She worked with Georgie Woods and Jocko Henderson at the Uptown. Tina, tell us about some of those stories, if you would, some of those good days at the Uptown with Georgie Woods and Jocko Henderson.
Well, first of all, we were always backstage. Diane opened doors for us that I didn't think could really happen because we opened up for New Birth, Honey and the Bees, uh, Harvey Fuqua, was interested. He got us a lot of gigs. So that Diane was very instrumental. She knew a lot of people that can
Yes,
get
she
us
did.
indoors, and that's what she did. I mean, I met some people that I didn't think I didn't dream about meeting. I
Okay.
met them all, and she was instrumental in that. And she
Okay.
she she did it with such grace. Diane was such a graceful person.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
Everybody loved her.
Yeah.
Everybody loved her.
Yeah, I'm gonna share a quick story with you. She was also a songwriter and a singer, and you alluded to that. When all right, I just lost his name that fast. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Jeffrey
whoa! I need
Osborne.
your love in every day. Who is it?
Oh,
I didn't hear you.
Oh my goodness.
No,
You
he
know who I'm talking about, Tina. You know who I'm talking about.
Was
He
it
passed
GC
away.
Cameron?
No,
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 when
not
no.
GC.
GC.
No, when GC.
No. Whoa, 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 whoa!
Yeah.
I
Oh
need your
yeah,
It
love.
yeah,
was
that
a
guy.
Right.
duo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gardner, Don Gardner, Don Gardner.
Right,
Don
right,
Gardner.
Yeah, Don
right.
Gardner. Well, we had his birthday party down at the Clef Club. This is obviously before he passed away. So Diane says to me, "Come on, I'm going down to Don Gardner's birthday party." I said, "Okay, yeah, let's go on down. We'll have a good time." And so he had invited Maxine Brown. He had
Yes.
invited Jeanette Baby Washington. So
Mhm.
on stage now, singing happy birthday to him through his song was myself, Diane, Maxine Brown, and Jeanette Baby Washington. He gave me
Oh
the mic to
wow.
do the part. Whoa, 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 whoa. And I'm telling you right now, we had a ball. This was on stage at the Clef Club. Okay, so we became good friends. But you are absolutely right. Diane had so many connections. She introduced me to GC Cameron. Okay, and so forth and so forth. We went backstage with the Spinners when I first met them and whatever.
Yes.
Diane was. I'm not talking about her in the past since like she's gone. She's still here, but she's
Right.
not as active in the business as she was. She was one of the first Black women or women, period, to work in the Unity Day situation with Cody. One of the first ones.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yes.
we owe a lot to.
Diane.
Go ahead, Tina. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Diane had me in the presence of Isaac Hayes, the OJs, Chuck Jackson, Stevie Wonder. I mean, I was around people. I'm like, before you at the blink of a hat, you could be around anybody with Diane. Really, I'm like, wow. She was a
Yeah.
great person to know, and she was always the same all the time. And
Yes.
she taught us how to dress, how to do our makeup, clothes. She said, you don't come to the gig with your clothes on, with your
Right.
show clothes on.
Right.
Get you a
Right.
garment bag.
Right.
I'm a drummer who I love hat. I'm a hat person. So
Okay.
then I had to invest not only in a garment bag, then I
But
had
a
to
hat
go
box.
invest in a hat bag, a hat
Yeah.
box.
Hat box. Hat box. Yeah.
Right. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you see people coming to the gigs with the green trash bags, and we didn't do that. You know, I mean, even the gig that I did at Relish, the young lady, one of the singers said, "Where's your black and white?" I said, "No, honey, I don't do that. I got my show clothes right over there because
Right.
I don't want to
Right.
be setting
Right.
my stuff up, be sweaty. You know,
Right.
people want to be entertained. I like to look fresh when I'm performing.
Gotcha.
Now, what I look
Gotcha.
like after the first set, that's on me. But
Right.
I like I
Right.
like to
Right.
come out looking clean and fresh. And I hold that very close to my heart. And I will do anything to see that again in this industry, but that's
Right.
not going to
Right.
happen. But as
Yeah.
long as I'm
It's
out there
gone.
performing, that's what I bring
Yeah.
to the table.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about that a little bit ago. That aspect of the business is gone. You know,
Yes, it
sneakers
is.
and your pants hanging down and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
That's gone. That's gone. Yeah.
it's not
Come
a
on
good
in,
look.
Professor. Come on in, Professor.
Um, Diane, what would you say was your favorite that is or was your favorite venue to perform in?
Good question. Good question.
Tina, you called me Diane.
Oh, sorry.
The best venue, or actually it was three of them. The one I played with Barbara Mason, it must have been over 60,000 people at
Wow.
that concert. Yeah. And the
Where?
concert that in California, what part of California was that? It was in California. It wasn't sent,
San Diego?
yeah, yeah.
I think because I know she does a lot in San Diego.
Right. She does a lot in San Diego. They love her in California. And I couldn't, the amount of people were just like, it was phenomenal. I'm like, and Snoop Dogg was on that gig also. I mean, it was a big lineup. So
Okay.
that was really big, huge for me. I mean, over 60,000 people you're performing for.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that was a big thing for me, and I have that on YouTube also. If you ever want to check it out.
Oh,
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
question, Professor. Good question. Lamar, come on in.
Yes, I was reading that you got a standing ovation when y'all played a Black Cow, and I wish I was there to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
My question also is, how often do you do gospel concerts?
Very few. You know why? Because it's a different kind of. See, the younger generation have dominated the gospel industry because they got all that flair and all that other stuff going because that's how the gospel is. Now, when you're talking about the old school gospel, you know, I played in various churches doing gospel, but the new, I call it the new age gospel, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
It's a whole different ball game. It's a whole bunch of flair, unnecessary flair. You ask me sometime, but that's not my genre. You know, that
Okay.
type of gospel is not my genre. I like the
Got
old school gospel.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
All right.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good question, Mar. Good question. DD, come on in.
Tina, now out of you, I mean, you play with a variety of people, different things, different places. Who is your favorite person to play behind?
Ooh, another good question.
Yeah, that's a real good question. I must
See
say,
that,
you know what?
Tina, that's what happens when she leaves Florida and come back to Pennsylvania. These questions
Well, you
just
know,
pop right out.
I I came back. I came back to Pennsylvania from Florida. I lived in Florida for 15 years.
All right.
I was
All
in
right.
Key West for 5 years, and I was in Miramar County, Broward County for 10 years.
Okay.
So I get it, but I tell you, the best people. Well, first of all, Barbara Mason would always be on top of my list because she makes it easier for you to do. She makes your job easier for you. You know, she didn't give us a hard time. She just said, "Tina, you know what I want. Let me do it." The group Better Days, they were my idols. You hear me? Because we didn't fight about music. I love it when I don't have to fight with music. If I have to go in and fight with a thing about where the hook is, where the verse is, where the chorus is, I don't have time for that. Because if you're a singer, you're supposed to know all this.
Okay.
So I would say Barbara Mason, Fred Wesley, Lonnie Liston Smith, and Ladies Unlimited
Okay.
were the best
Great
for me.
list.
And
Great
I
list.
can't forget, I had the opportunity when John Fitch had the opportunity. John Fitch, who he wrote "Shame" for Evelyn Champagne King. He was very instrumental in me becoming the drummer that I am.
Okay.
He worked with me until I got my strength. Until he said, "You know what? I got a deal for you." That's when he got the deal with Carol Douglas and Wardell Piper. We went at Mid-Song International and
Yeah.
recorded. He believed in me when everybody else was like, you had guys like Daryl Birch. I mean, you had some real tough guys out there, but
Okay.
he wanted me because he knew I would listen to him.
Okay. Okay.
The heavy
Good
hitters
story.
never listened to him.
Great story. Great story.
Yeah.
Great
And
story.
I have to. It all starts with my mother. This is emotional for me because my mother passed the day after Whitney Houston.
Okay.
She worked actually 3 jobs. She went and got some drums for me. I wasn't even home. She was at 8th Street Music Store down on Market Street, Chestnut Street.
Yeah.
She didn't even
Yeah.
have money to get home. The guy
Wow.
found a shopping cart for her. She put those drums in a shopping cart and pushed them from 8th and Market, Chestnut Street, all the way to 6th and Green
Wow.
for me.
Wow. That's awesome, babe. That
Now,
is really
if I didn't want to play, I was going to play
right.
because of what
Right.
she did to
Right.
make sure that I had some drums.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Give your
Yes.
mom a nice round of applause.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's awesome. That is
Yep.
awesome. That's a
Yeah.
great
And
story. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's a great story.
yes,
Great story.
I'm
Great
indebted to
story.
her for more reasons than one,
Right.
because of what she
Right.
did for me so that I could play.
I got you. I got you. Great story, man. Great
Thank
story.
you.
Jay, are you still with us?
No, he left.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Come
Well,
on
you
in,
know
Drew.
what's funny,
Well, hold
Ali,
on.
when my mother would come to the shows, right? Back in the day, you would just sneak a little cigarette, a little drink or something. And she caught me. She came in the door. I think I was smoking a Tarleton. She said, "Oh, you really grown now. I didn't know you was doing this." I'm like, "Oh man, busted, right?" So I put the little cigarette out. She
Yeah.
said, "No, what kind you want? I go buy you a pack." I said, "No, I don't even want to smoke now. You took the fun out of
Right.
it."
Right. Right.
So I didn't do it no more. She said, "Oh man," she said, "You sure you don't want no packets? Because I don't never want you bumming for nothing." But my
Right.
mother was
Right.
a cool smoker. I said,
That's
"Nah,
fine.
Mom, I wasn't after that. I didn't even bother about it no more."
That's awesome. That is
Yeah,
awesome. That's
she was
awesome.
my biggest fan.
I got you. I got you. I can share that, and I know exactly. My mom was my biggest fan with me, doing the thing. She got more excited than I did when I got my first radio job. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Running
right,
around telling everybody, "My son's on the radio. My son's on." Well, where is he? He's in Texas. You can't hear it up here. You know what I mean? So
right, right. But
excited.
what's funny is that when I started playing drums, before my brother decided he was like, "You know what, I can't compete with you." I wasn't trying to compete with my brother. I
right.
wasn't trying to do that. So I said, "Well, you can play the drums," because the group that he was performing with wanted me to play drums. I said, "No, let him do that." I'll say, "I'll just sing in the talent show." I did Message to Michael by Dionne Warwick.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And I still won. His group didn't even come in third place. He said, "You know what? I can't get away from you. You just want to steal everything." I'm like, "Oh God." Yeah, I say, "Bro, I just do what I do."
That's
And he was
awesome.
mad at
That's
me for a long time about that.
I'm
But
sure. I'm sure. I'm sure.
yeah,
I'm so
but
sure.
he
Come on
got
in,
over it.
Drew. Drew, come on in.
Yes. Miss Tina, thank you so very much for these stories. First of all, they're amazing. When
Thank
is
you.
your next performance? Do you have any upcoming tours, recordings? How are you on social media? How can we follow you? I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm on social media, Tina Wu.
okay,
I have a gig next Saturday in at King of Prussia. It's called
okay,
Thorndale Inn. Thorndale Inn, a great place. I'm playing with a group called Red Alert. Now, this band here, the woman that you talking about, a person that commands the band. I mean,
mhm.
she's the Supremes, the Four Tops, Jerry Butler, Newberg, Dionne Warwick, all in one. I mean, she just does her hand rolls and she does it all. She's a great person. Her name is Deborah Thompson. She also calls herself Jet Black. I'm performing with her next Saturday
Okay.
on
Okay,
King
and
of
the
Prussia.
venue is
Yeah.
called. The name of the venue is.
Well, the name of the club is the Thorndale Inn, but the Red
Okay,
Alert band is performing that particular day. But
okay.
as of now, I don't. You know what? And actually, I mean, I'll be 71 in August.
Oh my
I
All
goodness,
right,
pretty
you
much,
don't look
all right,
71.
all right.
You do
yeah.
not look
You know,
71.
Looking
I
good.
have like one foot
Okay.
in the door and one foot out the door because I
Oh no,
always
no, no, no,
promised
no.
myself, and my mother said, when the music that you love, you love music.
Yeah.
She said,
Mhm.
when it becomes or when it feels like a 9 to 5 to you,
Time to go.
Mhm.
Let me
that's
go.
when it's time to go.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
like I said, I have one foot in the door and one foot out.
Yeah.
I
So this
love it, but
performance is next week.
yes,
This
next
performance is
Saturday.
next week,
Yes,
next Saturday. Okay, we'd
yes.
love to support you. My goodness, it's King of Prussia's a hot for me, but it's doable. But love to
Yeah,
support you
it's
because I
not that
love
bad.
your stories.
I would really love that if you guys came out to that particular
Well,
show.
keep us informed.
I
I'll
will.
try to hit
I
you up.
will.
If you're on Facebook, I'll hit you up and let's get out and support this lady, man. Come on,
Thank you
Absolutely.
so
I'm
much.
on board.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah, I
in,
can.
in this business, I've learned to really be grateful for the people that support me and appreciate what I bring to the table.
Mhm.
Where I struggle in this business is when I'm striving to help musicians, singers, or whatever become better at what they do and get the resistance. That's hurtful. They want, or you think you know everything. Like with bass players, we're supposed to be like hand in glove. And it's
Absolutely.
nothing
Absolutely.
more annoying than playing with a bass player that doesn't even look at you as a
Hmm.
drummer.
Wow.
That
It's not cool.
bothers me. I don't get up there just so I'm gonna play my part. No, I like to feel each instrument, each person.
Hmm.
People don't play with feelings no more.
I got to tip my hat to you. I love your acumen, your professionalism, the way you approach your craft. It's impeccable.
I love what
Much
I do.
kudos to you.
I love if I have to perform on a Saturday night, Friday night, my show clothes is ready. I'm ready. I'm in the bed early, getting
Mhm.
my stuff on. I'm ready. I'm shoe shine ready. Because
There
when
you go.
Saturday comes, I'm rolling out. I'm fresh. If I gotta be at a gig at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I'm there at 12:30
There you go.
because I don't want to be
My
rushing.
brother-in-law.
Right.
You have to allow a room for trial and error. Anything could
That's
happen.
right.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right. That's right.
I
Yes.
always
You
leave
you
myself a
you
2 hour
are
grace.
you are a still living, performing throwback to what entertainment used to be. That's what
Yes,
you are. And I know that
and I
because
feel
we
that.
talk about it. We talk about it often. We're going to go around the room to say our goodbyes because we're coming up on close. Drew, since you're talking, you go ahead and start off, please.
Thank you so very much for your these stories, Ms. Tina. Well, please give us the opportunity to support you. Whenever you have a
Yes,
show, please let us know so we can come out and
thank
support
you.
you. I know I
You
will.
do.
You got a fan.
Thank
You
you
you,
so
you
much.
got yourself a fan tonight. In me,
You
at
got it.
Thanks,
least.
Drew. Lamar, come on in.
It was a pleasure speaking with you and just seeing you because
Thank
I
you.
had Googled you and I came up with a Chinese woman. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
actually, my government name is Woodred.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
Okay. Okay. But it's been a pleasure. And since I'm not in Philly, I can't come out there, the king of pressure. But when you
Okay.
come to Detroit, please let us know, because that's
I
where
sure
I'll
will. Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, we
bless
need
you.
to support you.
All right, Mar. All right, Mar. Diane, go ahead, baby doll.
Tina, it was a pleasure talking to you, especially since you're a female drummer, something I always wanted to do.
Really?
Always. Said my
Yes.
mother sent me to charm school, ballet, and tap. Okay. That's
Oh,
it. No,
wow.
my brother played the drums, but he didn't play them. I had a piano, I wasn't doing it. So I don't know how to play a piano. He don't know how to play a drum. So
Right.
my mother said she wanted well-rounded children. Well, she missed. Okay. But it was a
Absolutely.
pleasure talking to you. You know.
My pleasure as well.
Like I said, I'm
Thank
back
you.
in Pennsylvania now. If you anywhere near where I can get to, I will be there.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you so much, Diane.
Come on in, Professor.
Tina, I have a message here on my phone from Jay. He said he froze and the system kicked him out,
Okay.
but he is
Oh, okay.
watching.
Okay. I
So
see
he
him.
wants to send his appreciation for your time and your insight.
Oh, absolutely. It was my pleasure. I mean, the legends have to talk about these things, and maybe somebody might get something from it, you know.
Right.
We
Yeah.
have to do this. We have to do this. We have to pave the way for people who are lost in the industry.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
It's a
That's
lot
true.
of them.
Oh
I
yeah.
thank you for joining us. This was fun and very educational
Thank you as well.
because we
It
don't
was
usually hear from a female in the industry the way that
Exactly.
you are in the industry. You know,
Right.
when we usually have females, they're singers,
right,
but as far as a straight up musician, that's not common.
Right. Right.
Right.
right.
Right.
So
Way to go,
thank you.
Professor. Way to go. T, listen, echoing and on the back of what everybody else is saying, piggybacking on what everybody else is saying, I don't have to tell you how much of a pleasure it was to have you here, because you and I have talked often, and we will be talking, God willing, we'll be talking more often about the same thing, about what the business was, what it is now, where is it going, you know, how we feel about it. We just
Right.
talk back and forth, and that's a good thing. But coming on this show tonight, and I have to piggyback on what the professor said, giving the insight from where you are and from where you've been is really, really a mighty plus. And by the way, guys, just before we came on tonight, Brenda Holloway called, told me to tell everybody hello. Okay.
Okay.
So, but that's the point that I'm making. Most of the young ladies that we have on this show are singers or a background, or the only one that was different was Carla Benson, but she was a background singer. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
We don't have many people in your position to come up front and say what it was like, how it was like, and what have you. So I tip my hat to you for that. I tip
Thank
my
you.
hat also for the fact that you've hung in this business for a long time
Yeah.
amongst the adversities, amongst the highs, amongst the lows, and you're still rolling now and doing the do. So I tip my hat to you for that.
Thank you.
And continue on. Continue
Thank
on.
you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming out to Relish and supporting me. That was a big plus, Ali. I really love it when people come and support me. I mean, when we performed at Relish, it was a lot of people there that came up with us in the 70s.
Right.
So that was a great moment for me. Because they understand us, they understand the music, and they understand how we project. And they just love us. It's just a whole
Okay.
different ball game now where people think we're trying to compete with them. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to
Right.
set the tone for those who are coming into the industry and what they need to learn and know about the industry.
Got
It's
you.
not like
Got you.
nobody's picking on you. It
Got it.
develops you.
Right. Right.
So
Is there anything, Tina, is there, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing? We got about a couple more minutes, just a couple.
Well, I just want to, I'm really grateful for the opportunity, Allie. I think there are a lot of people out there that really need to hear my story and who I really am. You know,
Okay.
a lot of people try to pick me as difficult, hard to deal with. Okay, I get that. But I came from the school of hard knocks. I came from I grew up with people that read me into like, if you're gonna do this, do it. You cannot play around with this business. Do it
Right.
right. And
Right.
people
It'll
will
eat you
respect
up.
you. They might not like you, but they're gonna respect you.
Right. The business will eat you up. That's for sure.
Yes.
It will definitely
Yes.
eat you up. Well, listen, I want to thank you, Tina. Tip my hat to you. I love you dearly, and I'll see you on Sunday, God willing. To
Yes.
everybody else that's out there that's listening, thank you so much for joining us. Next Friday, you guys have heard me on the radio play the song Stairway to Heaven. Not the OJ's version, the young lady's version. Well, next week, Pure Soul, one of the members of Pure Soul, will be on our show dealing with us next week. So I hope you'll join in, tune in. Have a great weekend. God bless everybody. We love you. Ciao. We're out of here.
All right. Thank you, Ali.
Everybody have a great weekend. See y'all.
Be safe out there.
Be safe.
See you tomorrow.